big reason we just so yeah, that's the big reason we decided to kind of hit a checkpoint halfway between. Some explorers decide not to do that. There's nothing wrong with either option, but this is what Justin and I felt comfortable with, uh, and what we decided to do. So it's it's really nice. We're nice. Our commanders are nice and well rested, and our ship has shiny new paint job and fully repaired, and we're ready to.
That shouldn't be too bad. Welcome to Space Talk. We got 11,797 light years to go. At least that's what I'm clocking. So let's get all launched out, shall we?
Sounds good.
Silent Night here is Uri in space, and beginning that first leg. I'm coming in right behind him, so should be fine.
Yeah, you should only be maybe one, maybe two jumps behind me at the most, and realistically, you'll make that up because your jump range is a little better than mine.
Lovely nebula. Okay, there we go. Exiting the planet. Disengage your mass lock. Low wake FSD.
Alright. Did you have to basically escape the planet's gravity and get around the other side of it before you can jump?
That's what I'm doing now. I gotta get away and then go around just in super cruise.
Copy that. Yeah, that's what I had to do as well.
That'll be fine. Not too bad. I like to pull my radar array out a little bit so that it's a wider scan instead of that up close thing, so that's what I was doing down here. Alright, I'm rocking the lovely Crate Mark II, and Silent Night is in an Anaconda. Both outfitted for deep space. We've been out here for what, a little over a month and a half roughly, something like that. Hell, if I probably counted, it'd probably actually be 2 months, but I'm sure there's explorers that have been out for longer, but we're not gonna have a piston contest.
Yep.
It's not what we're gonna do.
It's all valid. I mean, it's kind of crazy because it becomes it becomes just a wash at a certain point. It's like whether you've been out for 1 month or 9 months, it kind of feels the same in a lot of ways. You start to run into maybe getting a little stir crazy. Some people just probably have more patience. Oh, not probably. Some people do have more patience than I do, and they can spend months on end out in deep space. I can't.
I know there's commanders that have spent like a year, like just out in the black. Like they come back and they weren't even around for any of the updates. There's ships they've never seen. Like,
yep,
it's kind of crazy.
Yeah, and I'm just not the kind of commander who can do that. I don't mind, getting out and checking out the galaxy, but man, I gotta see civilization at some point.
Yeah, it's just kind of like this is
all space just kind of starts to look the same. I make the joke that you start to kind of dream in witch space, so to speak.
Dream in witch space.
Yeah.
So, myself and Knight here, we're thinking about doing the Commander's Go chair, so we've been looking up stuff. I found Game Cab makes some pretty cool chairs and desk setups. Also found some other setups as well, but the cool thing is because we're on PS4, I found out that you can have your HOTAS cord extended, because those that don't know, on PS4 the HOTAS, there's a cord that connects the flight stick and the throttle together, and that cord is only like 2 feet long. Not even, probably like a foot,
Yeah.
foot and a half.
Yeah,
So like
if
if you
that,
wanted,
yeah.
right, so if you wanted to have like a commander chair set up, and you know, with some of these chairs, it's got the little pads so that you can sit, you know, your throttle on the left and your stick on the right, and it's even, it gives you a nice wide burst. But this stick won't fit because of the cord, and just on top of the fact, like, let's just say it barely gets in. Now you got a cord like locking you into the chair. Every time you want to get up, you got to move the stick, or you got to climb out of the chair. So I found out that you can actually have it extended, you know, to make it longer. That way, when you set it up, maybe it can go under the chair, the cord, or it can go behind it. But it'll give you the room to put the stick where you want it, and also not have that cord in the way. Which is the two drawbacks, I think, from the HOTAS are that cord, and the fact that if you have a headset with a cord, you can't plug it into the HOTAS. You have to plug it into another controller. So, I mean, some people might say, well, just go get a Turtle Beach or something like that, you know, but I don't have $140 that would spend on a headset. I'm not doing that. I mean, well, I have $140. It's not the point. The point is, I'm not spending that much money on a headset. Okay? That's what I'm getting at. It's kind of like these controllers you can buy that, you know, they're cool looking and stuff, and they're like got neon colors, and they're like $100. Nah, I'm good. I spend $100 on a controller. And I feel the same with the headset. So I got just a normal Afterglow headset. I think this thing was like $40-50, but it's got a cord, and so in order for me to talk, I have to have it plugged in, and the HOTAS doesn't have a cord for that. So, and which honestly, because I'm on a bit of a rant, I think the cords are better, because think about it, the cordless headsets, you have to charge them. And I've played with numerous people that are playing, and they're just like, oh crap, I gotta charge my headset. I'm going off comms for a little bit. And then they're mute for like the next 20 minutes while they charge the headset back up or something. The cord, the headset with the cord, you just plug it in. You don't have to worry about it's gonna run out. It's working as long as your controller's working.
And it's especially the worst when you're playing a game that really relies on great communication. You know, a game like Justin, you and I like to play Ghost Recon Wildlands as well. And there is nothing more annoying than when one of your squad members goes, "Oh, hey, I'm gonna be off comms for 20 minutes because I have to charge my headset," and it's like, whoa, wonderful. So we have no idea what you're gonna be doing for the next 20 minutes. You know, yeah, we can see that you're like in the game, but you know, and you'll be able to hear us, sure, but we don't. Or well, if that's the thing, we're assuming you can hear us. We don't.
Right.
You know, we
don't know if you stepped away to get something to drink. We don't know what's going on. On top of which, if we ask you anything, you know, you can't respond. So, you know, we could be asking you something simple. You know, hey, how you doing on ammo? Or, you know, I don't know, playing Elite, I could be asking you, hey, to turn your wing beacon on, you know, so I can find you to give you possible fuel or something like that, and I can't hear a response of where you are. I can't hear if you're having issues, or you don't know where the wing beacon, you know, button is, like anything, you know. So it's kind of, and anyone that really games knows how annoying that is for someone to go off of, you know, the comms and just disappear, and then you're just left there wondering and wait, like, okay, what's going on? So I prefer the cord playing games, just because it's not going to run out. I'm not going to have the issue of I'm playing and then it runs out. Now there is the issue of maybe the cord can get frayed or destroyed, but that's just you not taking care of your stuff. So,
or like, you know, here's the thing though too. It's like most of these cords are designed really. They're designed nicely. I mean, that's assuming you don't go just buy like a cheapy $10 headset, you know.
Right.
But you know, if you got something decent, you know, I'm not saying you have to spend $140, but if you went and you got like a $20-$30 headset, most of the cords are designed pretty well. Like I had a headset that just finally went out. The cord finally went out on it after a decade. It's been over a decade that I've had that headset. So I mean, that's not bad considering, you know, considering what I bought the headset for. You know,
right, exactly.
I think it was like $30 when I bought it.
Like I said, I think I spent $40 on this Afterglow, but I've had this Afterglow for like a year, and it's fine. I've not had any issues, you know, with the headset. So yeah, I say go cord.
Yeah, that's my thoughts as well. And I mean, there's some arguments that can be made as well for for wireless. I get it. I understand the convenience of wireless, sure. Uh, but there's just that major drawback, like we said, people having to step away and charge their cords, or not their
Exactly.
cords, charge their headsets. That's such a major drawback that I just don't feel it's worth
Hold on.
uh, the
Let me stop you for a
convenience.
quick second. I just looked at our jump distance. Well, the jumps left. I've got 301 jumps left, which tells me we're not going to hit too many neutron stars on the way home. Because closing in that 10,000 and some change light years from Colonia to Sacagawea, we
Correct.
only had about 200 light years. I'm sorry, 200 jumps. But I noticed, and I'm sure you noticed on the way home, there was a stint
Hmm.
where it was like I was hitting neutron stars almost back to back.
Oh yeah,
I just
absolutely.
kept hitting them. It was like 150 here, 150 here, and that closed out a lot of that time. So the fact that we got an extra 300 on practically the same distance, I'm sorry, an extra 100 on practically the same distance, just tells me that we're gonna hit a few neutron stars, but we're not gonna hit as many as we did,
Yeah.
on the last stint, which is fine. I mean, an extra 100 jumps, honestly, to me isn't as much because I've done more. I mean, like I said, we've been
Oh
out here
yeah.
for a month and a half, or if not longer. So I'm
Uh,
yeah.
I wish part of me kind of wishes I'm kind of smacking my head. I wish I would have kept track of how many jumps I did, just to, just to, I don't know, have that on record, just to know what I've done. But either way, yeah, it's crazy. I think I said this earlier in the stream, but I did 470 jumps in one day. Uh, Coming back from the edge of the galaxy to Colonia.
Right.
So I mean, after you pull something like that, a couple hundred jumps is just not a big deal to you anymore. I mean, I typically crank out 100 jumps before breakfast.
Okay, so here's the thing for anyone looking to explore or haven't done explore, just want to go out to Colonia and see what it is about or whatever. Just want to go out in deep space and see what's all the fuss or whatever. Deep space is boring for the most part. I won't lie. It's not like you're out here. It's just you know a bunch of Jessica Alba's dancing and it's not okay. It's dark. There's nothing out here. There's a lot of times you run into areas where there's nothing but a star. It's like it's dead. But the allure is there's a lot of pretty things out here. There's a lot of cool looking nebulas. There's plenty of planets that you can land on that the caverns and stuff and the makeup of the planet looks like awesome. It's more for the sights for the scenes. It's more for just because we know playing this game that there's always a chance you could run into something that's like, wow. I mean, the first person to run into the dark it was just a luck of the draw. So that's kind of the allure. But I will tell you, if you're thinking, well, it doesn't make any money, you do make some money. Now, you're not going to make crazy money. I can probably make more money trading in a day than I made in this whole journey, but it's not like you get table scraps. So from this trip itself, by the time I get back, I will have made 100 million, roughly.
Correct, just off of
Credits.
cartographic data. Yep.
Yes, because the way out here, the way out to the edge of the universe that we went to, well, the edge of the galaxy, and just this trip back. I mean, on that little 10,000 light year stint from Colonia to Sacagawea, we didn't stop and actually explore anything. We kept trucking. We honked the system and moved on. We didn't stop and look at anything, and that alone actually grabbed me like a little over 10 mil, honestly. It was like 10
Yeah,
mil
thereabouts for me
roughly,
as well. Yeah.
just from that alone. And I netted about 40 mil when we went out to the edge, and I also picked up probably another 10 to 15 mil coming out to Colonia, maybe a little bit more. So I mean, just this whole expedition is probably netting me about 100 mil, which is, I mean, fine with me. I mean, when I get back, I can You know, because I already have ships back in the boat, so when I get back, I can take that extra 100 mil and possibly buy another ship and outfit it the way I want, or maybe re-outfit a ship. And if you play this game, you know that some of these ships, like we have Type 9s that we do our trading in, and the Type 9s we run, you know, we've got everything in those things. You know, we've got the best you can get, and I mean, just like a decent FSD, so you can make the trip in the Type 9 because it's a big ass bus.
Yeah.
Those FSDs were what, like 50 million, something stupid.
Oh, easily,
Like,
yeah.
I don't remember exactly what they were, but I know they cost a few million, just, you know.
Oh yeah.
So you can make it, and it's not even anything crazy. You're not getting no 30 jumps, no. You get maybe 20 jumps. I mean 20 light years with that FSD. But trading wise, it's always nice to be able to go further because that means you can get more done faster, which means more money.
But just to kind of piggyback onto to what you're saying there, Commander Justin, I wanted to say, because I think this is the point you were driving at as well. If you go into space exploration, please just do not go into it for the money, because that will really just take the enjoyment out of the trip.
Right.
You know, when we came out here, we didn't come out here thinking, oh yeah, this is going to be awesome, we're going to make, you know, millions of dollars or whatever. We kind of knew that we would by accident, but it was just but we didn't come out here for that. We came out here just to see what we could see, just to check out some of the cool things that the galaxy had to offer.
Right.
And you know, and we did see some cool stuff, you know. Did we run into anything that, you know, nobody had ever seen before? No, not really. I ran into things I'd never seen before, that's for sure.
I know we had some interesting problems, I can say that much.
There were some interesting problems.
You know, we definitely had some piloting issues.
You know, but it's all good. You know, it made me he's referring to me in an incident I had, and it made me a better pilot, a better explorer. You know, because I had to just kind of troubleshoot on the fly.
Oh no, I had some issues too. Remember, I lost an SRV on a 3G planet because I was driving it like it was a dirt bike.
Yeah, that's true. You were jumping.
So I had to go the rest of, and that was only at like the 10,000 light year mark. We went out 26,000 light years from Colonia to go the rest of the trip out there to the edge of the galaxy without an SRV. I just stay in my ship the whole time. So if we did land on anything,
kind of just be Overwatch for me.
Right, night would go out, and I had to just kind of trail back in the ship. I couldn't actually get out there and drive around, collect any resources or anything like that, all because you know, I lost my ship. And that is kind of the cool thing about this game, is that you can run into those instances where you just a minor detail that you overlook can lead to, you know, destruction. I mean, all I did was, and I wasn't doing anything too fancy, you know, I wasn't like driving an SRV and trying to do all kinds of tricks. I was just driving it. I was driving at full speed, you know, hitting bumps here and there, but I never stopped to realize that on a 3G planet, that's 3 times my SRV's normal weight, which means all impacts are detrimental now. And before he knew it, it was like, hey, 5%, you know, hull left, and I was like, oh, and I hit a rock, and boom, it was gone. And so that was kind of a learning instance for me, though, that, you know, pay attention to everything, be conscious of everything. It's kind of like when the name of the game is Elite Dangerous, and that dangerous part is like embedded in everything. Like, hell, fuel scooping can be dangerous if you're not paying attention.
Yeah, if you're not paying attention, absolutely, it can be. You know, it's like, well, and it was like we were playing yesterday, and yeah, by all means. But we were playing yesterday, and we were trying to get some filming done for an unrelated video. And it was actually getting kind of dangerous because the area we were in, we kind of thought it was
just, you know. But go ahead.
But yeah, thanks. But yeah, it was kind of cool. We thought we were kind of in a relatively uninhabited area of space, and it's like we had like 2 or 3 people show up and mess with us while we were sitting there trying to film. Like, it was like I'd finally get like set down, on the planet's surface, and then I would have to lift off again immediately because Justin is trying to fight off, is trying to fight somebody off. So I'd have to lift off and go, take this guy down, and then
I think the
we had to
issue
take it.
we had there, thinking back on that is sure we were out deep space, but we were only like 50, 60 light years from Colombia, so we were still
Correct.
in an area where there would be traffic. There wasn't a lot of traffic. It wasn't like we saw ships left and right, but we did. We were on the planet for probably about 30 minutes, but in that time span, we lay witness to 2 or 3 ships come by, and 2 of the ships decided they wanted to, I guess, bother us. And the cool thing about myself and Knight is when we do deep space, unlike most explorers go out and they're fully outfitted just to be exploring. As light as they can be, as many jumps as they can get. Well, we go out and I've got dual multi-cannons, dual beam lasers. I have pack-hound missiles. We're ready for a fight. And same with his Anaconda. He's got weapons and stuff. It's not like we're out here naked. If you run into us, we're in trouble. You have to try and run. We don't need to actually run. I have a fighter also that I deployed in the midst of that battle. So we come out with the idea that we're gonna explore, but in the off chance, like we experienced, that we do run into anyone hostile, they're gonna be in for a rude awakening, and that's exactly what happened. Rude awakening. I mean, I don't have 50 light year jumps, but I got 37 and a half, which is still pretty goddamn good.
Yes, it is, and the ability to defend yourself, which is worth quite a bit. And that's just it. And it's not like I run I don't run crazy weapons. I'm running an Anaconda, and I know a lot of elite players will immediately think, oh Jesus, like you're running weapons, and it's like, relax. I'm not running, a full complement of weapons. I have 2 medium beam lasers and 2 small beam lasers, so it's not like a lot.
Right.
But it's just enough that I can dish out some damage if I need to. And you know what? Most of the time, I don't need to. For out of this entire month and a half long trip, I've deployed those beam lasers one time, and that was yesterday.
Right. That was the first time I've actually had to fight
for 30 minutes.
This far out as well. I've never been in a fight, this far away from the bubble. And this is the 3rd time I've been to Colonia. And even though we weren't actually in Colonia, we were close by, I still have never had like those issues running into anyone. So it was actually interesting. It was kind of refreshing because after exploring and exploring as far as piloting, when you're exploring, you do a few things repetitively. You scoop from fuel stars. You engage your FSD, and you scan planets every now and again. Every once in a blue, depending if it's worth it, you'll fly down to a planet. But even then, it's not like it's hard work if you into the orbit, crux, and fly down, enter a glide, boom, you're on the planet. Watch for the gravity. But you don't really do anything really crazy. There's no high maneuvers. It's everything's really laid back flying. So to have to mix it up for a second, deploy the weapons, fly around, and the crazy thing was I was kind of rusty in the midst of the fight. I realized because my lasers and this ship, by the way, my crate is engineered, so it's not like a weak ship or it's not like standard. But I was wondering, when I fired my beam lasers, why they were starting to warm up, and I'm like, they shouldn't be warming up. They're engineered, and I realized I had none of my pips to weapons. They were all to engines and systems, and I was like, oh yeah, I forgot. You gotta,
manage pips in the middle of a fight.
Exactly, and it was like, I hadn't been in a fight in this game, and it's been over a month and a half because even before we came out here, I was just trading, so I wasn't fighting. So it's been probably about 2 months, almost 3, and I haven't been in a fight. So I got in a fight after that long, and I was kind of rusty. I had to kind of get my bearings, But it all came back quickly. I deployed my fighter, I changed my pips. And I ended up shooting down 2 ships. And the thing about the ships they were one was an ASP Explorer, and I think the other was an ASP as well. I think they were both ASPs. Not sure. I
Yeah,
don't remember.
I
But I
think that
mean,
sounds about. Or
they
one of
were
them might have
just,
been a Viper. Now that I'm thinking about it, but
they were just simple ships. It wasn't like we took on some pythons or something like
Anaconda.
that.
But
Right. It was small ships, but even then, it could have went wrong. It could have been a matter of them really getting a drop on us, and because we have shields, but our shields aren't the best shields. I've got better shields back in the bubble. These shields are just kind of like,
absolutely.
hey, if I run into anything or hit anything, they'll take the brunt of the force and not let me die immediately.
Yeah.
I mean, I know commanders that come out here without shields, which I think is kind of crazy.
I mean, yeah, you get a few more light years, but yeah, I think for me, I don't know. I mean, I'm a great. The thing is, like, I'm not gonna sit here and say like, oh, I'm like a best pilot in the world. But even if you are just like a fantastic pilot, accidents happen, things happen,
Yeah, this
you're
thing's like
coming in
driving
on
a car. You could not pay attention for 1 second, and next thing you know, you have a stop at a star because you got a little too close. You weren't paying attention, and whatever. So I don't know.
Yeah,
The whole
well,
no shield thing, I can't do it.
We had a scenario out, and we were really glad you had shields. We were kind of filming way out there, and so it wasn't like there was a station close, so it was, we were filming, and Justin, when you were flying overhead, and I was driving the SRV, and like you said, it was like for not even like maybe 3 or 4 seconds, you weren't paying attention, and you slammed into one of the canyon walls, and luckily your shields took.
Well, I
all
skipped it. Let's not get a little too. I would have died if I'd have went head on. But I did one of those like movie things where you look up and I kind of like saw that I was about to hit, and I the bottom, and I kind of like skipped the cliff side. But even then, it was enough that it dropped my shields, and thank God I had the shields, because the shields were able to take that damage, and the ship shrugged it off. But if I'd came out here without shields, that could have been the end of my trip right there.
Yeah, I could have just ended you. Well, especially because we were so far out here, and our oh, there you are. Look at you. I got you on my scopes. We're in the same sector.
Oh, look at that. You are. I caught up.
Yeah. Look at you. Yeah, like I said, that little extra jump range helps you out.
It does.
But yeah, it was. But anyways, back to our point of the shields, and it's that's the crazy thing with exploring. I don't really like to say that there's necessarily like a right or a wrong way to do it. I mean, there's obviously like the really wrong ways to do it, but like there's just things I don't understand, like not running shields and stuff like that. It's just
right.
I'm confident in my abilities, but I'm not so arrogant as to think that my focus can't be split for a second, and that's the end of my trip.
Exactly. Especially when you get far out, because it seems like everything bad happens when you're out here. Like you don't really. I didn't run into any issues. I didn't hit anything. Like nothing happened until I was like 10, 15,000 light years away. That's when a mistake happened, and it was like, whew, good thing, And that's what you don't want to happen, because that's anybody that's been exploring knows that's a pain to like get your ship destroyed, and you get sent back to where you started. And so that 12, 15, 20,000 light years you just covered, you got to do it over.
Especially not that it's like, again, like we said, it's not necessarily about the money, but that's another part of it that would really suck in that scenario, is you just lost all your cartographic data.
Right.
Everything you scanned, everything you would lose it all. And that would just really be a bummer if you're that far out.
Right. So, I mean, I can see the appeal, because when we got to Colonia and we went out to the edge of the galactic plane, I didn't take my weapons. Well, I took only my pack-hound missiles. I don't like being undefensive at all. So I just took pack-hound missiles, but they're small. So I removed my lasers, I removed my multi-cannons, I got rid of the fighter bay, and I was getting 41 light years after I took all that stuff off, a jump, which was cool. But I wasn't, ready to remove my shields. That's something it's kind of just like knowing, how this all works. when you come out deep space, you got to think about how long you're going to be going, where you're going, what you're trying to do, and then you got to assess what you need, what you don't need, you know, what things you have to sacrifice, you know, and it goes vice versa, because I sacrificed some light years just for that layer of protection, which is shields. And these shields only, I think I get like 90 shields. My shield rating is like 90 with these shields. So these shields aren't anything, you know, crazy. It's not like I got shields on and they're giving me like 600 shields. Like, it's not doing anything fancy at all. It's just enough that if anything does happen, you know, the shields add that extra layer of protection, because I don't have any hull upgrades on this ship. That's what I don't have. So my hull is naked. You know, it's easily you know, destroyed. So that the shield gives that extra level of protection out here without me being heavy, honestly. Because even if I took the shields off, what am I gonna gain? Half a light year maybe. So
there you go. Yeah. And that's that's just it. Is, I mean, you can do everything conceivable to try and increase your jump range, but it becomes this game at a certain point of like, well, how much protection should you sacrifice to just to gain a little bit of jump range? It's like, oh,
right.
Hey, I took off my shields and I gained 2 light years, but it's like you're gonna be really kicking yourself if you sacrificed your shields for 2 light years when you hit a canyon wall, even if you skip it, but because you have no shields, no protection, you just get instantly blown up. You know, you're gonna be going, wow, I guess those 2 light years really weren't worth it.
Well, and the crazy thing is with light years, because I get the appeal. Now, some people feel like, oh, I'm not going, you know, deep space without anything less than like 50 light years or something. Good for you. But here's the thing I want to bring a lot of people's attention, that if you really explore, you have witnessed this and you understand what I'm talking about. When you have high light year jumps, it doesn't mean you're going to have that every jump. Because even when I had 41 light years as my max jump range, a lot of times the nearest star I could reach wasn't 41 light years. It was only 35 or 36. Mm-hmm. You know,
exactly.
So if I would have taken out even more stuff just to have maybe 42 light years or 43 light year jump range, it wouldn't have even mattered, because even then I still wasn't using the max. You know, there's times, yeah, you get your max. You know, you get your full max distance, and it's cool. And then a lot of times you get in you know, areas of space where the nearest star you can reach is only maybe 25 light years. Mm-hmm. Because I've seen that while we're out here. We've been out here, and the next star I jumped to was only 27 light years away, and it's like, that's like half my distance that I could jump.
Yeah.
But I don't have a choice. That's the nearest plot distance, you know. So it is what it is. So sometimes, I just feel like, don't go crazy over things like light years and you know, stuff like that, because sometimes it's not even worth it.
Yeah, well, there's you know, and with that, there's kind of a delicate balance of, you know, yeah, if you're gonna take something out and you're gonna gain an extra 10 light years, you know, that's significant. That right. is where, you know, you have to start kind of going, okay, you know, am I willing to sacrifice that over? Yeah, that's where it counts, because 10 light years, that can be huge, you know. But as opposed to 2 or 3, where you're just like, that extra 2 or 3, is that really going to help me? As you guys are seeing on my stream right now, if you're watching, then, you know, I'm looking at a jump right now. My jump range is 38. This next nearest star is only 35.
Right.
So it doesn't, at this point, it's kind of irrelevant that I have a 38 light year jump range.
Exactly. I mean, it's all relative. You just gotta kind of look at what you're trying to do. You know, where you're trying to go.
And, you know, there's some really good videos out there on like good exploratory builds and things like that you can go watch. You know, and hopefully, you know, what Justin and I are saying here, because this is not coming from you know, like sitting here reading a book. This is just coming from our experience out here and what we've experienced.
And that's probably one of the most important things. Also, is just if you've never done it, maybe do something light, like go out, 3,000-4,000 light years just to see what it's like,
Mhm.
and then come back. Don't go anywhere crazy far, but just go out a little ways, where there's no stations, it's just you, and kind of give it a test run and see how it goes. Because the first time I went out, made me rethink a lot of things, and the second time I went out made me rethink some things. This is the first time I've probably gone out and I felt really comfortable with everything I had going on. So I mean, it takes just the experience of also playing. Some people may prefer other things over another, and that's fine, but you got to figure out what works for you, and also you just need the experience of what it's like being out with deep space.
Because I mean, you can talk theory all day long on a video, and that's all well and good, but you don't really know what you like and what you don't until you've gone and done it a few times.
Right.
I've gone and done stints, and first time actually that Justin and I went out on an expedition. We went out with 2 other people, and I took a python, and a lot of elite players, when I say that, probably just went like, "What? You took a python?" Like, yes, I took a python, and I was getting about 28 light years. Yeah. Well, but like, keep in mind, like, my python, I basically had stripped everything off my python with the exception of like a couple of weapons and like the shields, and that was like the max I could get was like 28 without taking off my shields.
Right.
So, you know what I mean?
I think
As
I had
opposed to
like
like
31
the
or 32, and one of the other guys had like almost 40. Somebody, I believe we had the 2 lowest jump ranges.
Yeah,
but,
we did.
Again, we were in fighters, so like
Mm-hmm.
And I gotta say, it was actually fun though, having a fighter out that far. It was actually fun.
Yeah, and it was, and it had its value. There's actually a really fun video you can watch of that expedition on Justin's channel, and it's called like Spark Good Times. Spark is SPARC Good Times, and it's kind of cool. It just kind of shows off some of the fighter's capabilities on a doing like planetary flying. So it was, yeah, racing through the canyons, and it was really fun, to take that ship out. But at the same time, it was kind of fun, like to go do that. But at the same time, when I came back, I went, you know what, I'm probably not going to do that again. I'm probably not going to take a fighter out, just because, that it kind of became grueling, especially on the way back, when all you want to do is get back home. All you want to do is dock at your station, and it's like, I'm stuck at 28 light years. Okay, this sucks.
No, definitely.
So
it definitely does.
Yeah, so it had its merit, but and again, you'll have to just kind of find what you're comfortable with, and it's probably, if I was only going a few thousand light years, it probably would have been okay. But we were on that trip, we were 7,000-8,000 light years out on that trip from the bubble, and that can just be pretty grueling when you're trying to come back.
I don't know. I think the thing with the aspects is 2 things. One, it's got a good cockpit for Explorer because it's so open, and 2, it gets really good jump ranges. When you really strip it down. But I don't know. I've never been the guy that I want to do what everyone else is doing. I looked at the aspects and it was cool shit, but I sounded like I want something different. I don't want to fly the aspect. Everyone's already flying it, so I've taken out various ships. The crate, which I'm flying right now, I actually think is really good. Like, not that I could do it, but I did get 41, which is pretty good for the ship size. And the fact that I still had, an SRB in my hold, I still had, all my little things, FMU and all that stuff. So, I mean, I probably could have stripped it down more, maybe gotten to 42, 43, maybe even 45. But, I mean, 41 light years is still a really good jump range, especially for exploring. And the cockpit on it is, I dare say it's better than the ASP. Because the cockpit on the crate actually extends out.
Mm-hmm.
you know, away from the ship, so you can really see uh, around you. And I actually think it's really good. Having really high range is good, but if you're going exploring for the real reasons people go exploring, you're gonna miss out on a lot. Also, if you're getting really huge jumps because you're skipping so much space. That's part of the thing
Yeah.
about being out in deep spaces. You don't want to skip too much because then there's a lot you miss.
You're kind of missing the entire point of having an exploratory vessel.
Right, exactly. You don't take a fighter out and you know sit in the back of the fight, watch everybody. Like you take it out to actually fight. So you know with the exploration vehicles, you want to get some jump range just so you can get out there and it's not a chore. But you also don't want it to be something crazy. You know, if you could get a ship that had like 200 light year jumps, that would be cool. But I wouldn't go exploring in it because what are you going to explore? You'd be to Colonia in like an hour. You know what I mean?
No.
You'd miss so much. Like, so it kind of would defeat the purpose. I mean, it'd be good for like if you were doing passenger missions, a ship that could do
Yeah.
some crazy like 100, 200 light years. That would be awesome for passenger missions. You know,
Well, yeah.
because you're just trying to cover the distance. But for exploring, you're not just trying to cover distance. You're trying to explore the distance. You know what I mean? So.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and that's a really good point that you made there. Yeah, I like the Asp Explorer. I really do. I don't want to put it down, and I know there's people that use it for exploring. I've used it for I used it for kind of a short trip, short solo trip myself, and it was great having that 50 light year jump range and stuff. But yeah, I did miss a lot of stuff, and I actually, I didn't make as much, not like, again, not that it's about the money, but I noticed that I didn't make nearly as much money as I did when I went out in something else, only because I was skipping so much space. I wasn't going to as many sectors
Right.
for my destination.
And that's kind of the point. Like, you gotta understand, if you do decide to go exploring, you have to. It's not that you have to, but the idea of it is, you should want to, you know, actually explore. You shouldn't go out to explore just because you figure you'll get some credits or something like that. Like it should be, you know, something you feel like doing. You're curious. You want to see if you can find something. You want to, you know, try and check out some, you know, some see area space or something like that. That's what's gonna make it worth it and make it fun. Because if you come out here and it's just like, oh, I just want to deep space because it'll get my rank up or it'll give me some credits or whatever, I don't even know if you'll make it. You may just say, you know, F it halfway through and just, you know, detonate the ship and go back or something. Like, you might not even want to be bothered, like, because you'll be bored. Like, you know, it's kind of like, if you think about it, if you don't like baseball, then if you go to a baseball game, you're gonna sit there and feel like you don't know why you're here. It's boring. You know, but if you love baseball, if you really want to watch the game, you're gonna be there and you're gonna enjoy it. So it's kind of the same thing with exploring. If you go out and you actually want to explore, you're curious, you want to see what's out there, explore, it's gonna be fun. It's gonna be interesting. I enjoyed this whole expedition. But if I would have been out here for other reasons, I probably would have turned around. Hell, at Eagles Landing, when we got to that first checkpoint.
Yeah.
You know, I probably would have been like, you know, I don't really want to do this. I'm going back. You know.
Yep.
So.
Well, and you know, here that's another thing too. Is like I will say that it's going to kind of sound cheesy when I say this, but having a good exploratory partner is really critical as well.
Yes.
You know, having somebody that's committed to the cause. You know, they want to go with you. It makes it more fun. I mean, I've done solo trips and they're fun and they're fun. You know, doing solo trips. But when you get to go with like somebody else who's like just as stoked to be out there as you are, it just makes it.
I mean, it's just
so
like a road
much
trip.
more worthwhile.
Honestly, it's just like a road trip. I mean, if you take a road trip,
exactly.
you know, somewhere, it's boring by yourself. You're driving and what do you listen to music, talking to yourself. Like, I mean, it's cool. You're still gonna see the sights and stuff like that, but it's more fun if you bring a buddy that wants to go or something like that, you know, or maybe it's your girlfriend or whatever. But it's more fun to have just another person, you know, that's enjoying it with you, than to just be by yourself doing it. I mean, I can fully equate this to a road trip, like.
Yeah, well, and it's cool too because it's like there's times where, you know, and we kind of just have learned how to make it fun because we're good exploratory partners. We really are. Like, I'll be, you know, like I'll go find something, you know, out on my own. Because the thing is, we don't always have to be like together, like in the same
Right.
sector exploring.
Exactly.
That's actually what makes it fun. Is like I go somewhere else and he goes somewhere else. But it's really cool because then it's like I'll find like a new Earth-like world. I found an Earth-like world 40,000 light years from civilization, and I was able to, and I sent Justin a screenshot of it, you know, and it would have been like, you know, if you're on like a road trip, it would have been like my goofy faced selfie in front of the Statue of Liberty, you know, or
Right.
something like that.
Exactly.
And and it was cool, and I was able to send that over to Justin, and it's just kind of like it refreshes the expedition, I guess I like to say, because, you know, you kind of go, you know what, there is cool stuff out here, and,
Yeah, it
you know,
definitely
Justin
does.
would do the same thing. You know, he'd send me a picture of like a cool planet that he saw. You know, maybe he can't land on it, but still, like, you know, it's like, oh wow, like that looks really cool, you know, and it just
That is
reminds
going
me
to be
like,
so good when they introduce atmospheric landings, though, because there are so
oh
many
my goodness,
atmospheric worlds that I've passed. Not even Earth-likes, just like high metal or snowy worlds, or you know,
yeah,
whatever. It's going to be so cool to be able to go down,
well,
drop down, and see what's going on. Maybe it's a storm. Maybe, you know,
yeah,
I don't know, but I
well,
know
remember,
it'll be
well,
cool.
you remember that you know, I sent you a screenshot, and it was like that planet. There was a planet. I mean, it looked like the apocalypse like just happened.
Right.
It was like it was all like black, and then it was like there was like, it looked like these continents almost were like just on fire. And I'm like,
Yes.
I just couldn't help but wonder. I was like, what is going on down there? Like, I want to go check that out.
Right. It'd definitely be cool to you know, be able to not even if we can't land, it'd be cool just to bring it down. And that's a cool idea. I think that Frontier should look into with atmospheric worlds. We don't even have to land on it initially. Maybe exploring an atmospheric world is flying down, and maybe you there's a separate scanner once you're on the surface you have to hit, and it kind of scans the planet, lets you know what the water's made out of, or you know what the atmosphere consists of. Maybe it's all methane, or you know what I mean. Like, it'd be cool
Hmm.
just to get down there and fly about the planet. We don't even have to actually land and drive around or anything like that. It'd be cool just to, you know, maybe a water world. You go down and there's like tsunamis, you know, and they're ridiculously high, so you gotta watch how low you get, you know. Or maybe there's an acid storm or something like that, and you know, it's like a hurricane. Like, it'd just be cool just to be down there on the planet. Maybe
Yeah, maybe
volcanoes everywhere,
maybe you go.
you know.
Yeah, maybe you go down to a water world and Kevin Costner's there, and you get to take a selfie with him. Like, that would just be so cool.
It's just like he just like hops on your cockpit and stands there.
Yeah. Yep. Maybe he can point you to dry land, you know?
Yeah, maybe. But I know it'd definitely just be cool just to be able to get down on it. Honestly, at this point, you know, we can worry about landing on them, making it, giving it more later. I mean, because honestly, right now, and you know, this isn't knocking the game or anything, but the planets we can land on, they're non-atmospheric, they're dead worlds. They're only a few things. They're either an ice world, and everything's hard and ice. They're either metal, so it's just dirt. Um, or it's like
Yeah.
in between, where it's like maybe like Mars, but with no atmosphere. You know, it's kind of cold, kind of warm. You know, yeah, you get some planets where they've got like these really deep, you know, canyons, or they've got these ridiculously high mountains. You know, or maybe you know, the planet just, you know, has a lot of dunes that you can jump, something like. But for the most part, it's not really like there's a bunch of stuff to do. What do? You land on it for the most
No.
part, and you get resources. That's like the most beneficial thing. Other than that, there's nothing to do with them. So, I feel like it would be cool if maybe the first stint of you releasing Atmospheres World is just you can enter the atmosphere and fly around and look. You can't land. You can't, you know, interact with really anything, but you can fly and kind of see, you know, what's going on the planet's, you know, surface. I still think it would be cool, you know. So
Absolutely, and it's really cool too because I was watching yesterday a little bit about you know, space and work. You know, for those of you,
You're breaking up,
it's
Night. Check your comms.
oh, how's that?
Nope, you're still coming in broken. Uh-oh.
Coming in broken.
Yeah, you're like cutting out. I can hear your sentence every time you talk.
Let's see here.
Oh, now you're good.
Okay. Just been the way I was laying, so. But yeah. What was I saying?
I don't know, but you're breaking up again. I know, maybe I'm too far ahead of you. Maybe I smoked you. Yeah, I'm too far. This is where a space nerd is like, hey, no, it's quantum entanglement, so it's no such thing as too far.
Exactly.
You know what? I do want to kind of say that now that I think of it. The end game comms suck. Okay. Like, it sounds like I'm really talking to someone in space far away, and they're barely getting like my you know, messages. Like, it's, I don't know, it's so broken. Like,
it's like, why are we still using CB radios in 3304?
Yeah, that's what it feels like. It's like, why is this radio so crappy? Like, we've got holographic panels, and we can jump through space, and we can fly, you know, within like, you know, a light second of the sun, hell even closer and stuff, but we've got regular radios. Like, what is going on? Someone's priorities are all messed up. Like,
yeah.
Like, I have to make a party whenever I play this game. I've tried just the in-game comms, and they suck, dude.
They're awful. Yep.
Might be good for a video though.
Oh,
if
that's...
you try to do a video where maybe someone has weak comms and you're trying to raise them or something, that could be cool.
Yeah, well, and you know, it's kind of like what I did with Into Darkness.
Right. Right.
Was I kind of made it seem like in-game, almost feel like in-game comms and party. I gave it that feel. Like my ship's comms have gone down.
Nah, it was definitely good work. I thought it was pretty good.
Well, thanks, man. That means a lot.
Oh, stop it! It's not like I'm James Cameron or something.
No, but I do enjoy the video. They're good.
And I thank you, kind sir.
Yes, indubitably.
Alright, so I'm knocked out about like 60 jumps. Roughly.
Yeah, let me take a look, see here. I think that's about where I'm getting.
Because I'm at like 250. When we started, I had like 315 or something like that, something stupid. It was like a little over 300, and so it's about like 60 jumps knocked out roughly.
I had like 305. I'm currently at 7. So yeah,
and I've got to be slightly ahead. But let me see. No, not. There we go. Alright, so if you're looking at my bookmarks and you're new to this game and you're wondering why do my bookmarks say the Colonial Highway or Earth or, you know, Ice World and stuff like that, it's because you can actually go and name your bookmarks whatever you want. That's what I did. I went and I named my bookmark. Okay, so I'm 9,000 out from I targeted Seoul. I mean, once I get, you know, back within the bubble space, I'm just gonna go to Akanura. But I targeted Seoul as my my point. So it's judging off of that. You know, if you target further out to the edge, it's probably knock off some jumps and stuff.
See, and that's the difference. Is I'm targeting Akanura, so that's probably why I have why I have more jumps. Is because it's trying.
Well, not too many, because Akanura is only like what 40 light years from Seoul.
Yeah, it's not too
It's not
far,
far.
but
No, it's like a jump away.
Fuel scoping.
I don't know.
but
Your
it'll.
filters are. What do you have in your filters? That's a question.
For me, I'm not filtering out anything.
Yeah, me neither.
I
I have it totally.
for a long while I was only filtering scoopable stars, which you know what, that's actually a good point as well when it comes to exploration. Kind of coming back to a previous conversation we were having, you know, if at first that might be a good option for you. It might be a good way to start exploring. Just that way, you know, you're not getting yourself into a situation where you're low on fuel and can't, you know, and can't find any. Is to set up your filter here. What I mean by that, for those of you who don't know, you're on the galaxy map, and I pop over a few. And right now, I'm filtered by star class, which when you go exploring, that's basically what you want to filter by is star class. And so you have all these things check marked. Basically from, let's see, everything from like M type up are all scoopable. Anything below that is really not scoopable. However, you know, some of these other things like Wolf Riot stars and white dwarfs, those work similar to how a neutron star does. It doesn't give you as much of a boost, but it still does give you a boost. So I've gotten to a point where I'm comfortable enough in this game that I just kind of don't filter out anything. I just, in my own mind, I know what's scoopable and what's not. And the cool thing is to, you know, you do it long enough, it'll be the same way. It'll just be on automatic for you. So like I'm preparing to jump right now, and I can see up in the top right it says Class M Red Dwarf Star. Class M, I already know that's scoopable. I'll be able to get fuel off that star.
Right.
The nice thing is here's just a really easy way to look at it. If it says Red Dwarf or like Blue White, anything like that, those are scoopable. Anything that says like Brown Dwarf,
Right. White dwarf. Yeah, you're not gonna scoop from. Like,
you're not going to scoop from a white dwarf.
You can't. It's not. You can scoop to charge FSD, but you can't gain fuel.
Yeah, you're not gaining fuel off of it. Same as a neutron star.
Right. And just to piggyback off that, as far as filtering, two things. One, the filter chart for routes and stuff like that. It's actually more than just you know, for stars or whatever. Because I mean, if you're trading and you want to look for certain trade routes and stuff like that, you can edit that in to your what do you call it? I had a brain fart. You can add that into your filter. Yeah. The filter has more than, you know, maybe you're looking for a certain faction or something, like you can add all that into your filter. And two, the way we're using the filter right now, as far as it being wide open and it's just we're just letting it do its course and we kind of just know what stars are what. It's working for us just fine. It's cool, but I mean, I'm sure there's explorers out there who maybe they have a way better formulas that can cut down some time. If you know what I mean,
Sure.
share, because I mean, I don't know everything there is to know about this game at all. I consider myself a veteran, but I'm not a pro. Like, I'm not like the guy that I just know everything about Elite, like, you know. So I mean, if you know a better way to filter out the stars, set, you know, the routes more efficient, you know, feel free to you know, put it out there, because hell, I could definitely use it. But right now, my best bet is I just leave it open, and that's working the best for me. So.
Yeah, because then the map doesn't exclude anything. It finds everything on along the route. But yeah, definitely. I'm not born again with that mentality. It's it's definitely. I'm definitely open to it as well.
All right, a little more than halfway back towards the bubble, and we're making good headway coming from Colonia. But that's all the time I got for today. So that's gonna be the end of my broadcast. I'll catch you guys later. This is Space Talk.